9 non-boring butt exercises. If you're out here doing the same damn squats, it's time to move on. Let us help. If you're doing a bunch of squats in hopes of growing your gluteus maximus, your butt, we need to talk. Sadly, the basic squat alone isn't going to glow up your booty. It's science. But really, one 2019 study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research suggests that Romanian deadlifts and weighted hip bridges worked participants' booties harder than the back squat. That's not to say that squats don't impact your butt at all, says Brittany Perel-Yobi, a NASM certified personal trainer, who happens to have a mind-blowing booty. Just look. Of course, squats engage the glutes, says Perel-Yobi. But compound movements such as squats and lunges train more of the quads, lower back, and hamstrings, so they won't automatically result in greater glutes. That means, instead of squatting like it's hot, the key to your best butt is targeting those juicy muscles from different angles, says Perel-Yobi. She adds that during lower body workouts she cycles through about 10 different exercises that isolate the glutes. And while the best way to grow that donk is to perform weight-bearing exercises, you don't need barbells or dumbbells to go after your goals. In fact, these 9 moves from New York City-based personal trainer Chelsea Dornan require zero equipment and are way better than that basic moves you've been doing. Let's go. 1. Single leg glute bridge. Lie on your back with your knees bent and the soles of your feet on the floor. Extend one leg. On your exhale, squeeze your glutes and push your hips toward the ceiling as high as you can. Pause, then lower until your butt hovers right above the floor, and repeat without touching the ground to complete 1 rep. 2. Hydrants with leg extension. Begin on all fours with your knees hip-width apart and your wrists stacked over your shoulders. Keeping your knees bent at a 90-degree angle, lift your right leg out to hip height, then extend your raised leg straight out to the side. Pause before you bend your knee again and bring your leg back to starting position to complete 1 rep. 3. Rainbows. Begin on all fours with your knees hip-width apart and your wrists stacked over your shoulders. With a pointed toe, extend your right leg and reach the foot toward the ceiling. Slowly lower your leg to tap the floor. Squeeze your glutes as you lift your leg back to starting position, then lower your leg to tap the floor about a foot to the left of your kneeling foot. Return to starting position to complete the rep. 4. Curtsy lunges. Stand with your feet hip-width apart and your hands pressed together at chest level. Keeping your hips square, step your left leg diagonally behind you and bend both knees at a 90-degree angle, keeping the knees behind the toes. Pause, then press into your right heel to return to standing position as you extend your left leg into a side kick. That's 1 rep. 5. Heel lifted sumo squat. Begin with your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointed outward. Lift your left heel. With control, sit your hips back as you lower your butt toward the floor, keeping your knees behind your toes and bracing your core to help you balance. Pause, then press into your right heel to stand up into the starting position to complete 1 rep. 6. Bear plank leg lifts. Begin in a plank position with your shoulders stacked above your wrists and your body in a straight line between the top of your head and your heels. Lift your right leg and bend the knee 90 degrees, bringing your heel toward your butt. With a flexed foot, squeeze your glutes and raise your right heel toward the ceiling as high as you can. Pause, then bring your right knee back to meet your left knee to complete 1 rep. 7. Single leg deadlift. Stand on your right foot with your left leg bent in front of you, knee at hip height. Engage your glutes as you slowly fold forward, reaching both hands toward the ground as you extend your left leg straight out behind you. Pause, then return to starting position with control to complete 1 rep. 8. Sumo squat to calf raise. Begin with your feet wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly outward. Keeping your knees over your ankles and chest high, bend your knees until your thighs are parallel to the ground. With control, raise one heel as high as you can without compromising your form. Release it to the floor, then repeat on the opposite side to complete 1 rep. Continue to alternate sides. 9. Squat to sumo. Begin with your feet wider than shoulder width apart, toes pointing forward. Keeping your knees behind your toes, sit your hips back into a squat. Pulse up a few inches as you turn your toes 45 degrees outward and sink your hips back into a low squat. Pulse up to bring your toes forward, and continue to alternate foot positioning as you pulse.